Hi everyone, welcome to the TheFireSportsPod. My name is Zackery Jackson. We have a great show for you on today. We're going to talk about a couple points. Over the last couple weeks, we've seen the Lakers go on a historic run, really. Both the Lakers and Miami. That's another topic we're going to talk about. We're also going to touch on Game 7 tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to talk about a little about my Cowboys and how we did, and also about around the league and what are the predictions for next year and how the rookie quarterbacks will handle themselves in their first NFL season. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan. We were crazy good last night. We showed the defending champs who's boss, basically, and just dismantled them, made them look like little kids out there. It was just ridiculous and embarrassing to be a Warriors fan. That's my take, and it really looked like that. We were up 3-1 in the series. They got a Game 5 at their house. They won Game 6. We were determined to win that because we all know if that would have went back to Golden State, I don't think the Lakers are winning that game. It's going to be very difficult to win that game at that building, Game 7, to knock off the defending champs in their building. But at least we got the business done last night. We beat them by 21. Like I said, it was a enormous, crazy fought game, but really it was just LeBron, AD, Reeves, Russell. They were all just having a night. I mean, Russell finished with 19. Reeves finished with 23. LeBron had 30, 9 and 9. He shot 10 of 14 from the field. He played over 40-plus minutes in the game. Anthony Davis only had 17 points, but he had 20-something rebounds. And he had a couple block shots. LeBron had a couple block shots, some steals. We just looked like a resilient bunch. And my bold prediction since the play-in tournament that we beat that before we even played Utah, was that the Lakers are winning the chip, and I'm standing on that because I don't think there's any team, Western or Eastern Conference, that can match with the Lakers. For the next round that we got Denver. Denver's going to be an enormous test for us because they got the size. They also can shoot the ball. They're not as great of shooters as the defending champs, the Warriors, but the Warriors, what they lacked was size and strength. This team's got Jokic, Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. He's 6'8". He shoot the three. He postered Kevin Durant back in Phoenix. I think it was game 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. But and then you got Jamal Murray at the helm. So they got it, and their bench is deep as hell. And Jokic is the reigning 2-time MVP. He was the second in the runner-up for MVP this year, just behind Joel Embiid. So it's going to be a real test for us to see if we can get this win and get to the finals. But I think that the only thing that people don't understand is that Jokic doesn't like to play defense. And Jokic has to play defense versus Anthony Davis, or Anthony Davis will bully him to do whatever the hell he wants. I mean, literally bully him. You saw Jaren Jackson got bullied. You saw Kevon Looney and Draymond get bullied. And now you're going to see Jokic, Gordon, or anybody who's guarding Anthony Davis. And even if they double team Anthony Davis, who's guarding LeBron? At 38 years old, you still can't guard LeBron. He just dropped 30 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds on 10 of 14 shooting from the field. 38 years old, played over 40-plus minutes. That is absurd, insane. Back in the Memphis series, he had 23, 27, 2, and 3. That is crazy. That's the first time someone had 20 rebounds and 20 points in a game since Shaq back in 1995. That is insane. So for everybody to say that LeBron's washed or he can't win any more championships is ridiculous. And I know who says that. Stephen A. Smith says that. Or Max Kelvin, Colin the Herd. They all say that LeBron's washed, can't do this, can't do that. And look what he's doing. At 38, he's still moving. He can still drop 30. He can still win a game for you. And he didn't really have to do all that. We beat him by 21. And we had Russell drop 19, like I said. Reeves had 23. AD had 17. LeBron had 30. I mean, that's ridiculous. Out of the starting, that's the starting 4 right there. And not to mention Schroeder had a big game. Lonnie Walker again had a monster game. So I mean, we have all these players. No matter if they're coming off the bench or they're starting, they're contributing to the win, and that's what really matters for us. And the funny thing is that LeBron almost came away with a 30-point triple-double. Like, that's ridiculous. And he played 43 minutes. And that's insane. And he's getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the NBA Finals. And I'm sorry, if he wins the NBA Finals this year, I've put Jordan above LeBron since I've been able to watch basketball. But if LeBron wins this after the Lakers starting 2-10 this year, awful, god awful. Russell Westbrook, granted, LeBron did it to himself, bring all the older guys, Russell, Patrick Beverly, all these people over here, Thomas Bryant. Even though Thomas Bryant was good for us, but he wasn't the guy that we needed. So bring all these people, right? And for us to start 2-10, worst team in base, almost the worst team in the league. We at least we were 15th at one point in the Western Conference. Then we were 12th for a long time, 13th going back, and we couldn't get over the hump. Then Rob Pelinka did what Rob Pelinka does. He traded away everybody. Got D'Angelo Russell, Vanderbilt, got Malik Beasley, got Mo Bamba. I mean, the list goes on. D'Angelo Russell. I mean, it's ridiculous. And some guys that were starting in the beginning, like Lonnie Walker was starting. Troy Brown was starting in the playoffs against Memphis and the thing. But he took a step back. Malik Beasley was also starting at one point. Everyone's been going in and out. But for Lonnie Walker to do what he did in Game 4 at LA and score 15 points in the fourth quarter, what turnaround of a series would be if he doesn't score that? Who knows what would have happened? That means Golden State wins. So instead of we going up 3-1, it's 2-2. Then we go to Game 5, and we get blown out like that. Now it's a must-win. If not, we lose. Last night. So a lot of things could have happened. I'm happy it happened the way it did, but if we play like we played last night in Game 2, in Game 3, and Game 1, sky's the limit for us. We're winning the chip. If we play like we did in Game 2 and Game 5, we ain't winning nothing. So I think if we stay consistent, we stay confident, and we stay true to ourselves and Laker basketball, I think we can beat anybody, no matter if it's Boston, no matter if it's Philly, no matter if it's Denver next. Because other than that, that's it. We got those teams, or it's Miami. I don't think any of these teams can do it. Now, most of the teams that I just named have bigs. Grant Williams is the forward. Then we got Robert Williams. So you got the Williams twins on the Boston Celtics. They're going to give us some defensive help for Boston to combat against the Lakers. Philly's got Joel Embiid, reigning MVP this year. We got Miami with Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. Denver's got Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. So you got some size to go in. But if you're going to want to double any of LeBron or AD, who's guarding everybody else? Who's guarding the other guy? If you're double teaming AD, who's guarding LeBron? Double teaming LeBron, who's guarding AD? And if you try to guard them, if any of our supporting cast, D'Angelo, Russell, Reeves, Lonnie Walker, any of them are on, you're not winning the game. So what I think to slow down the Nuggets, we have to do, I think the Lakers have to play sound basketball. We have to feed Anthony Davis in the post, make Jokic uncomfortable, get him into foul trouble. If we get him into foul trouble, I don't think he's going to have the same impact like he would if he's not in foul trouble. Most of the games that he's played in the playoffs, he hasn't been in foul trouble. because there's been nobody. Even DeAndre Ayton, he's not that good. He was averaging a little over 10 points a game, but he wasn't making Jokic work. Anthony Davis is going to make him work offensively and defensively. And then for LeBron, LeBron is LeBron. LeBron has to be LeBron. If LeBron is a shell of himself sometimes, because he's older, of course, he's going to take some nights off. Other people have to support him and back him up. If not, we are not winning nothing. It all falls on those two, but it also falls on the supporting cast helping Anthony Davis and LeBron James to be a better team together. And if we could be a team and play as a team and play together, we can beat anybody. And I'm telling you, anybody. And I'm not playing around. Anybody. And watch it happen. So with that being said, with our second point we're going on to is I'm going to talk a little bit about Miami and how pretty much they shocked the world. They were not supposed to be in the playoffs at all. They barely got in. Then they played the play-in tournament. They lost. So they basically had to play a second game because they were the 7th seed. So they lost. So now whoever played them, which was the Hawks, they became the 7th seed. Miami became the 8th seed. So Miami played, and it was ridiculous because they played like it was like nothing. Like they played horrible the whole year. They were inconsistent. They were this. They were that. It was ridiculous. And I did not see this coming, but we all knew. I thought Milwaukee was going to roll through that series. All right, to be honest, I didn't even think they were beating Chicago. They were down by like 20 points going into like the fourth quarter, or with like 10 minutes left in the fourth. And they came all the way back and beat them. Then off of that, they played Milwaukee. They went up 3-1. It was ridiculous. Who would have thought Milwaukee won one game in that series? And they are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference with Giannis, Middleton, Holiday, Portis, Lopez, Grayson Allen. You got all these guys that can shoot the ball, score the ball, and everything, and you win one game. That is unacceptable as a number 1 seed. So they didn't deserve to stay in that. Miami played their behinds off. Jimmy Butler was MVP Jimmy Butler. And everyone says it. Why? Sometimes he doesn't play hard in the regular season because he saves himself. You don't see like this crazy you see once in a while these bursts of like 40, 35, maybe 50 in the regular season, but you don't see it consistently because he saves himself for the playoffs. And when the playoffs start, it becomes Jimmy Buckets. And basically he hits everything. He looks at everything, literally everything he hits. So for me, Milwaukee didn't deserve that. Then they go on and they play the Knicks. Okay? So the Knicks are a formidable opponent. They are I believe they were they were supposed to beat Miami, I believe. I thought the Knicks were going to beat Miami, but in all, Miami faltered, and the Knicks faltered, and as the 8th seed, they just dismantled the Knicks and made them look horrible. Even in Game 6 last night, they won 96-92. Knicks needed a monster game from Brunson, had one, but nobody else wanted to score the basketball. I mean, Julius Randle was god-awful. R.J. Barrett was terrible. The previous game, they were all great. I mean, you had Brunson play the whole game. You had R.J. Barrett drop 26. Julius Randle had 24. So, I mean, you can't really ask much more from Brunson because with all that, they still lost. And Brunson played a really well-around game last night. Fantastic game. And Jimmy Butler in these playoffs are averaging 31.1 points per game. Jalen Brunson averaged in this series 31 points a game. That's ridiculous. So Julius Randle got hurt in the Cavs series. So it's just ridiculous. They go play Giannis, play the Cavs. They beat both those teams, the Knicks. The Knicks play the Cavs. They beat the Cavs. Then they play Miami, thinking that they were playing Milwaukee. I don't know, maybe Miami surprised them, but I just think that they were not ready. hopefully maybe next year. I know everybody that's a Knicks fan that will be watching this or tuning in. Hopefully it's next year for you guys. I was really rooting for you guys. I was hoping. But I got to give props to Miami. Miami was the better team. They wanted it more, and you guys just faltered. And you can't rely on one superstar like Jalen Brunson to do everything. Julius Randle's supposed to be an all-star, and he don't do nothing. He don't show up in the big games. And I think, to be honest, I think you guys should trade him and get rid of him because he's not doing you any good. And this is what he does time in and time and again. Last time you guys went to the playoffs versus the Hawks, lost. Julius Randle was a no-show. He was a show, then no-show. So it's on and off. It's literally like Anthony Davis. He'll play one good game, have a horrible game. One good game, two more games, terrible, great game. So it's on and off with him. So I think you guys should just get rid of him because it really makes no sense to keep a person that's really not going to contribute at all to the cause consistent basis like a Brunson. Even RJ Barrett didn't play too bad, but like last night he played horrible and they really needed him. And if Julius Randle or RJ Barrett hit 1-3 or a couple twos, they win the game by like 4. So it is what it is with the Knicks. The Knicks are the Knicks, so, sadly. But Miami, man, I think Miami's going to give whoever wins the Boston and Philly series is going to have a tough freaking time getting Miami out of the playoffs. Because I think Miami's going all the way to the finals. I don't think anyone's stopping Jimmy Butler. And I don't think anyone can. I mean, if you look at Jason Tatum's been having playoffs, not really that well. Jaylen Brown's been okay, good, but then not so good. So they're inconsistent. Philly, James Harden one night will score 40, the next night score 13, then the next night score another 35, then the next night score 18. Joel Embiid is the most consistent person, but again, one person cannot go. So if it's a one-on-one matchup, somebody else has got to make somebody else beat you. So if Joel and Jimmy are trading buckets, somebody else has got to hit the shot. And it's either Bam Adebayo, Max Strus, like Duncan Robinson. With Philly or Boston, it's either Marcus Smart. Not knowing the stars, it's Marcus Smart or Grant Williams or Brogdon or White. If it's Philly, it's PJ Tucker. Maxey is good. Tobias Harris. So you got a lot of people that could make those shots and could be going off, but it's not if they can, but will they? So it's like, okay, are they gonna show up this game? Or is it just gonna be the Joel Embiid show? Or is it just gonna be the Harden show and Joel? So we will see. The next point we're gonna talk about is I'm gonna let you guys know what I think about the odds for the Game 7 tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time versus Boston and Philly. I really think that Philly will win this game. I think at Boston, after they just lost at home and a crucial loss because they had the game and then Jason Tatum just erupted for freaking like nonstop 4 straight threes, like freaking beast. Like he's a monster. But he was having a horrible game. He was like 0 for 12 and 0 for 6 from 3 until the fourth quarter when he scored 16 points and went 4 of 7 from 3. That is ridiculous. So I just think that with him, if Jason Tatum is on, then they're going to have a trouble. But the way Jason Tatum has been playing on and off, not really being consistent, Jaylen Brown here or there, if Harden and Embiid just come to play and they both drop 25 each, 30 from Embiid, 25 from Harden, Maxey gives them like 15, Tobias gives them 10, and PJ Tucker gives them like 8. Bro, they're destroying Boston. Jason Tatum has to have a career night. Him and Jaylen Brown have to go off. If they don't go off and Joel Embiid and James Harden are on, this Game 7 is going to be a blowout. I kid you not, it's going to be a blowout. I will put money on it that it's going to be a blowout. And in the TikToks that I've been posting, it's the TheFireSportsPod. I've been doing the betting, and I've been pretty much almost right on a lot of the bets, because it's really not that hard to see the games, because either they're going to be close or they're going to be blowouts. So it's hard, but it's not that hard to judge what the point spread and whatever the money line and the over and under is going to be. Like last night's game, the over and under, I believe, was 211 for the Miami and Nick game, and it was 96-92. Like who would have thought that? I thought everyone was gonna start firing. But again, they're both defensive teams. So again, it was gonna be a low scoring game. So I just think Philly has more. I think Philly now has more firepower if James Harden is playing the way James Harden can play. If we get the James Harden that dropped 35, 40 that he's been doing in the series, in the couple games that he did, and Joel Embiid just does Joel Embiid and gets like 15 rebounds plus 25 points or 30 points and like 6 assists, I don't see any reason why why Philly doesn't win that game against Boston. And the Celtics are 6.5 favorites at home, which is kind of funny, because Philly is not. I don't think Philly's going to lose by 6.5. That's ridiculous. I think they're going to put a much better fight than that, because they just got embarrassed really at their home stadium in Philly, because they were up the whole game basically. Well, they came back and then they went on a run and then they were up, and then out of nowhere comes Jason Tatum to the rescue and literally saves Boston's season and and finals chances with 16 points and 4 straight threes. I mean, you can't draw that up any better than that. But and that's just one of the best players in the NBA doing what he has to do. Even on an off night, he could still give you 16 points, 4 of 7 from 3, and answer the call. But again, like I said, Philly's going to be a tough task for Boston. And whoever goes to the next round versus Miami, I think both teams, Miami or Boston or Philly, that series is going Game 7. I would be shocked if it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if whoever wins in 6, but I would be shocked if any of the team sweeps or wins in 5. That would be a shocker to me. I don't view that happening. I think it's going Game 7. Game 6, Game 7. I would think Game 7, because all 3 of those teams play each other tough as heck, tough as nails. They all like to compete against each other, and they all fight to win. There's no give up in all 3 of those teams. So whoever versus Miami is going to give Miami a run for their money, but whoever versus Miami is going to give them a run for their money, because it's going to be a very close series. I don't think there are going to be a lot of blowouts. I don't think. But there could be 1 or 2, but most of the games are going to be very close, come down to the wire, and it's all going to be about who's going to make that last bucket and who's going to be defensively sound and be able to get that stop that the team needs them to get. So now the last point that I have for you guys tonight is about my Cowboys, and touch a little bit on like the rest of the league and how the predictions are for next year and what I believe was going to happen. Just a little early take on that, and like what I think of like the upcoming rookie quarterbacks that just got drafted this year. Probably like the top 3 that got drafted, like Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, where I think they're going to go. The Kentucky quarterback went very late. I was very surprised on that. But again, they did say that he had some character issues and was a little cocky, so that might have played a role in it. I do believe it did, because quarterback that well and that sound and situated and mechanically correctly, to drop to the second round is a little iffy. So we got to see about that. But my main focus are going to be the top 3 quarterbacks, which is Richardson, Bryce Young, and C.J. Stroud. But first I'm going to touch on the Cowboys and how I think we did. I don't think the Cowboys did bad. I think we did assess the needs that we needed, But at the same time, I do think, even though like Mel Kiper and all the NFL draft people, they all said that we got like a C- for our draft thing, but they didn't. We didn't do as much as I thought we were gonna do. Like we didn't get the tight end from like Utah, or like Utah, or but we did get a pick, or Notre Dame, but we did pick up one in Michigan. I mean, he's like 6'6", 200 something pounds. He's more of a blocker, which we kind of need. And then he can catch those passes that we do. We also have a good tight end in Tony Ferguson, which didn't do really bad. He is actually really good for backup for Schultz. When Schultz got hurt, he filled that role. As we all know, Schultz went to the Texans, and Schultz is going to be a great target for Bryce Young. Bryce Young is going to love Schultz. And I really miss Schultz, but to be honest, he was asking a lot of money. And he played good, but he didn't play great. He didn't play like a Travis Kelce. He didn't play like a George Kittle. He didn't play. He didn't play like the money that he was asking for. He didn't play like it. If he would have played like it, then we would have a different stuff. But then injuries happen against Tampa in the wild card. That was pretty good. Like I mean that was a good. He played fantastic. I think he played the first round. He played really good, and then the divisional round, like we all know, Dak Prescott disappeared when we needed him the most, and he didn't play well at all. He played terrible, and the same result happened last year when Dak played horrible against San Fran again. This time, that first time was at home, the second time was away, and we just could never get off the feet. So we didn't deserve to go far, because we don't have the quarterback. Dak doesn't have the confidence right now to keep doing the right things, and I don't get it. A lot of people are calling for him for this is like make or break season for him, and basically either we're going to trade him or something like that. I don't think it's going to happen because I think Jerry Jones loves him. I don't think anything's going to happen to Dak, and he's such a great person, and the character and the leadership he has. He just needs to be sound and stop making stupid turnovers, because he missed 5 games, and he came back and tied Josh Allen for the most interceptions in the league and missed 5 games on top of that. That is horrible. That is horrendous. If you're an NFL quarterback and you're paid the big bucks like Dak is, you cannot do that. I'm sorry. You cannot do that. But I did like the defensive lineman in the middle, Nazi. I liked him a lot, because we need that big man in there. Antoine Woods got hurt a little bit, and then in the middle, and we still gave up one of the most rush yards in the league. We were giving up like 130 something yards a game. It was ridiculous on the run, up the middle. Like it was ridiculous, because we have Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side, on the end rushers. So like they were getting to them. We had Van Der Esch coming. We had our safeties, but through the middle, we didn't have nobody big enough to stop somebody. Now, hopefully them. And Micah Parsons loved when we picked him up. He was ecstatic. So hopefully that's a good sign. I'm thinking that's a good sign. He's a beast. I saw one of the videos. He was going up the stairs like a track star. He was like hopping those stairs like a beast. And he's like almost 300 pounds. It was ridiculous. Never seen anything like that. So we did good. I like the Michigan tight end. I really do. I liked him a lot. Luke Schoonemaker, tight end from Michigan. He's going to make our football team better. I think he's going to be that. And he's a little older, so he's kind of like a veteran, if you want to say, for college. He's a little bit older, and he knows what it takes to win. And Michigan's all about winning. And then Nazi's also a beast, because he's from Michigan as well. He's the big monster. So I really, Mozzie Smith, man, he's a beast. He's the inside star he'll be the star of our defensive line, and the guy that stops the run where we need him the most. Where we got killed, wasn't even in the divisional round against San Fran. It was really the games like against Green Bay when we lost in overtime. We had the lead by 14. They were running up the gun with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. We needed him to be in that. Hopefully he's that run stopper that we need to get the defense. And now we're converting If you guys don't know, but we're converting Micah Parsons to defensive line. So he's going to be the edge rusher. So he's going to be fully edge rusher, and that's why he's not at camp. Any Cowboy fans out there listening, he ain't at camp because he's getting bigger and stronger because he's going to be the edge rusher now. So he's not going to be that linebacker. So Van Der Esch is going to be there. We picked up a linebacker in the later rounds. So it's going to be a well defense. I don't think our defense is going to lack anything. We did get Gilmore, and that's what people are saying, that we got a C- in the draft. Yeah, but we converted all the needs that we needed in the draft that we needed. We got a lot of stuff from free agency. Brandon Cooks, fast as hell. Man's a beast. He's still one of the best. He's like under the radar. People forgot about him. But Brandon Cooks literally last year hit 1,000, almost 1,000. 2 years ago hit almost 1,000 yards. Like everyone is forgetting about him. Or this year he almost hit 1,000 yards. Like everyone's forgetting about him because he's on Houston. Houston's horrible. Houston's been horrible. And now he left. They got Bryce Young. But we got him, and he's that deep threat that we really need. And I think he's going to go a long way for us. And then we got another D-line in the 4th round, William Fahuko. He's from Texas. He's a big boy. He's another defensive line. And I really think... he's from Texas, and then he went to San Jose State. So he's the rotation of the pass rush between Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, and Dante Fowler. Second-year guy Sam Williams already finds it tough to get his snaps. Howard Jr. get this. So we'll see how he does. But in the rotation with those guys, he's gonna be a hell of a D-line too, to help out Micah and whatever, because Micah was gassed at the second half of the season. If you saw, like, his sacks and his pressures weren't as good as the first part of the season. The second half of the season, he was like a no-show. He couldn't get to the quarterback because he was doing so much on defense in the first half. The second half, he went on. I don't know what happened. Like, just nothing happened. But we were also getting run on. He got tired. He got hurt a little bit. I'm not giving him excuses, but that's what happened. So if he doesn't expert all that energy in the first half, maybe in the second half he can have a better and more balanced year, and not just so good in the first half of the season. Second half really fell off a cliff. So hopefully it's a more balanced, because we have more people to help him out. And we also got an offensive lineman, Aisman Richards, in round 5, the number 169th pick. So he might start at left guard. Seems a bit much to predict here, but if they found somebody who can compete, a left guard who also has a position flex as a tackle, Richards qualifies as a candidate. So he could be a tackle and a left guard. So he can switch out with both Smiths, Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith. So that's good. And then the tackle, we had a lot of injuries last year with the tackle and stuff like that. So hopefully that goes well. And then we got a cornerback, Eric Scott, Southern Mississippi. He's good, but he's a little under the radar. As you see, he's round 6, 178. He's not crazy good, but crazy known. But he's a cornerback. We need depth. That was our biggest thing. We lost everybody, and we were putting in people we had no idea who they were. But they turned out pretty well. Like, Bland came in, and I'm like, who the heck is this? And he actually played really well as our cornerback. But now that we have more depth, if someone does get hurt, God forbid, we can keep that and stay with it. If not, if we're like we did last year, we're going to be the same spot that we were. So I believe that if we stay with the way we are going, we'll be fine. Now, to go on to the rest of the league and the quarterbacks, for the quarterbacks, let's go with the quarterbacks first. So with the quarterbacks, I do think I'm Ohio State Buckeyes fan, and I'm not being biased at all, really. I just don't. The games that I watched of C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, totally different people. They're best friends, and they're great people, and they're great quarterbacks. But I do believe that C.J. Stroud will become better than Bryce Young. Why? C.J. Stroud is at the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young's at the Houston Texans. They're both franchises that haven't been good in years. But I do think C.J. Stroud has that mentality. Both Bryce Young has it too, but when Bryce Young was under pressure, he took it well, but then didn't take it well. There were some games he took it well, like against Texas. He was playing pretty bad. The whole team was playing pretty bad, but he put them on their back, got the first down, kicked the field goal, won the game. C.J. Stroud against Georgia, man, I literally took the game to the end, and if it wasn't for us running the ball twice on first and second down and going nowhere and losing 1 or 2 yards, that was the difference of us going to the national championship and not going to the national championship. So it's kind of crazy, but I think C.J. Stroud has that poise and mentality at the end of the game. If you need something to happen, he's gonna get it done no matter what. Bryce Young, I gotta see. I'm not so I don't trust him. If that's just what I'm getting at, I don't trust him enough. I gotta see a little bit more of what he does with the NFL speed. But I think C.J. Stroud is gonna be a much better quarterback and be able to handle that pressure a little bit better in the NFL than Bryce Young is. And Bryce Young, even though C.J. Stroud was full of talent at Ohio State, Bryce Young kind of had a lot of the better supporting cast and all this stuff. So, and then Richardson's a dog. He's a beast. Never seen. He's like a freak athlete. Like, a man is a monster. And I really think that he is going to be a bright star with the Colts. And I think it was smart for the Colts to take a chance on him, because I really think that he's going to be really good. Why? Because he's a freak athlete. He's 200-something pounds, and he's 6'5". He's a beast. He's got an arm talent. He can launch the ball like 80 yards with a flick of the wrist. And people, Mel Kiper and all these guys, and are saying like they've never seen a person that could throw the ball that well down the field with such little effort. Like, we see Mahomes throws almost 100 yards, but he puts it like he just bang, it goes flying. It's ridiculous. So he's going to be one of the best I think he's going to turn into one of the best deep ball throwers in the league with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Still, Russell Wilson's a great deep ball thrower. And all these quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts is turning into a really good thrower. But I think Richardson is going to be really good. I would say that I would put, and it's a little bit of a stretch, but I would actually put Richardson. I think Richardson is, talent-wise, is going to be better than both of them. Talent-wise, I think is better than both of them. Poise-wise, I got to see. He played 13 games at Florida. Didn't really play that much. So I don't know as much as I know about Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. So we will see how well he does. But the first couple games will show you if he was ready to start or he needs to be coached up by a veteran. So we'll see how that goes. But I do think that C.J. Stroud is the best out of all three of them. I think Bryce Young is too, but Richardson is right there behind both of them. I think in due time, Richardson might become better than both of them. Like, statistically better, winning better, and overall because of just his size and the gift that he has. He reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. Cam Newton, big, strong, can throw the ball, can run it. Like, he reminds me a little bit of Cam Newton. Not as stocky, but he's quick, he's big, he can move. It's ridiculous how well he is. Now, the last point I have for you guys today on my show, we're going to be talking about basically what's our predictions for the rest of the league for the NFL next year, coming up in the 2023-2024 season, and see where like the people from these playoffs and what I think on what would their record be at the end of the season. For the Baltimore Ravens, I think going into the playoffs, I think they will be 10-7, even though the addition of Odell Beckham was huge and they got back Lamar. I just think that they need maybe a year or maybe halfway through the season. They'll be a little like out of sync. But the second half of the season is where they're gonna really push. I really think they'll be either between 10-7 and 11-6. That are my predictions for Baltimore. For Buffalo, the solid pick for Buffalo, I would say that Buffalo is basically the same. They did get some running backs and some picks that they really needed. But they're gonna people are underestimating Buffalo, how good they are. 12-5 Buffalo is 12-5, and to be honest, I think it's between 12-5 and even 11-6, or even 13-4. I would say those records would be good for Buffalo because I think that's who they are. Now for the next team, which would be the Cincinnati Bengals, I think they do a little bit less than what they did last year. I think they're going to be 10-7. I don't think they're going to keep repeating the same type of years over and over. I think they're going to have a fallout year this year, and I think they're going to be like either divisional round or wild card. I think they're going to be a wild card or a first round matchup. Like they'll be away, so they won't be home. For the Dallas Cowboys, my Cowboys, I think we actually are going to have a solid year this year. I think we're going to be either between 12-5 or 11-6. I don't think we're going anything less. There could be a time when we might go a little bit better or a little worse. I would say the worst would be 10-7. The best would be 13-4. Now, do I think that? No. I think we're going to be between 11-6 and 12-4. Why? Because I like our defense. I like our offense. I'm just not sure about Dak. I need to see if he can give me a consistent year of just being a good or even a great quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. If he can do that, we'll be fine. And we can make a run for the Super Bowl. Any of the teams that I mentioned here could make a run to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. That is just what my predictions are for that. Now for the next team that we have here, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champs. There's really nothing to say about them. They did really good in the draft. They got the pieces that they really needed, and I do think they're going to repeat a great year. I think they're going back to the Super Bowl, I would say, or at least to the AFC Championship again. I would not be surprised if they do go to the Super Bowl and even win it. But again, hopefully Kansas City is playing my Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Then I can't go for Kansas City. I got to go for Dallas, of course. But if that's not the case, all day, Arrowhead, baby. Let's go Kansas City. But 13-4, I think it will be their final record for me. Either 13-4 or I'll even put them at 14-3. I think they have a chance to really do well this year. But again, they're going to probably have a pretty hard schedule since they're the defending Super Bowl champs. That's usually how it goes. Now for the Chargers, they're going to be a scary team. I think that the Chargers are going to give the AFC a run for their money. I think they're going to go I don't think they're going to be like 12-5 or 13-4, but I think they're going to be 11-6 solid, and they're going to be really good this year. And all their 6 losses are going to be very close losses. They're not going to be blowouts. I don't really suggest that they're going to be blowouts. I think they have a great team coming. The Miami Dolphins are a really good team. I think if Tua's healthy and everything, I think they can really make and get. They could actually beat Kansas City or any of the teams in AFC. They have a chance to get to the Super Bowl as well. But they need to, it's all about Tua's health and his availability. If his health and availability is not there, they ain't going nowhere, as we saw this year. Minnesota that waited to the playoffs, I think they're going to have a bad year this year. I think they're going to go either 6-11 or 5-12. The best I think they'll go would be 8-11. But then again, I don't know. But I would say a median prediction would be 7-10. Now for the New York teams, I got the Giants. I don't think the Giants are doing well this year. I think they had a great stretch of horrible teams that they played, and that's why they went like 6-1. Then they went on they went backwards. I really think that they're going to really be bad this year. And that's just not me being a Cowboys fan. That's just literally saying the truth, that I think they're going to have either a 10-7 record, which is not bad, but I think they're really going to be closer to a 9-8 record or a 8-7 record. I really don't think they're going to be that good this year. I don't think so. Now the New York Jets, I think the Jets really have a chance to, I'm not going to put so high, make the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. I would say maybe get to the AFC Championship. I would say that. I just think that the new quarterback, it depends on which Aaron Rodgers we get. If we get Aaron Rodgers from MVP season 2.5 years ago or last year. If we get last year, Jets are screwed. If we get 2 years ago, Jets might win the Super Bowl. So we never know. So we will see. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate the Eagles, but I got to give them their props. They're going to be fantastic this year as well. They literally have the whole defensive line from Georgia. It is ridiculous. They got linebacker, defensive end, line. It's ridiculous. They got everybody on that front line and the linebacker. It's ridiculous. They got the best. If it wasn't for his off-the-field, Jalen Carter's best defensive player and best overall player in the freaking draft, Jalen Carter was, and they stole him at 9. Are you flipping kidding me? Like, I don't understand that. How, as a Cowboys fan, how did the Eagles get him? Like, any other team could have got him, but they got him. It's ridiculous. That's just me. I think they're going to be really good, though. So the Cowboys, and it's going to be the Cowboys and Eagles going head-to-head in the NFC East. I think it's going to come down to the wire like it did last year, but I think we're going to edge them out. We might even have the same record, but I think actually win-wise, we might beat them both, depending on how we play. Dak's playing well. He's healthy. We'll be fine. San Francisco is going to take a little bit of a turn back. They're going to be, I believe they're going to be 11-6 next year. We don't know who's playing quarterback. Trey Lance. Jimmy G's gone. Got Brock Purdy, but he's coming off that injury, so we don't know who. So we will see how they're going. Now, going off if Purdy starts, if Brock starts, they'll be pretty well, depending, but he might not be the same since the injury. If Lance starts, we only saw him like 2 games and he got hurt. So we don't know who he is yet. So hopefully he turns out to the way that they want him to be, because I'm rooting for Trey Lance. He's a small school. I don't like the 49ers as a Cowboys fan. I really don't. They killed us. They knocked us out both the last 2 years straight, back to back. So I really like them, but at the same time, I got to give them props. They're a well-coached team. So we will see. But thank you guys for listening to my show. That's a wrap. Tune into the next episode coming soon. Thank you guys.